Barron Trump's travel budget for a single trip is more than what most people make in a year. But that's nothing compared to the insane security measures taken to keep him safe and hidden from the public eye. From decoy vehicles to last-minute flight plan changes, the youngest Trump's travel arrangements are so top secret, even the Secret Service agents assigned to him don't know the full details until the last minute. Want to know how deep this rabbit hole goes? The Trump family jet, more than just a plane. You think flying first class is fancy? That's nothing compared to how Barron Trump gets around. The Trump family jet ain't your average private plane. It's basically a flying mansion with wings. We're talking about a Boeing 757 that's been tricked out to the max, worth over $100 million. This thing is decked out with gold-plated everything. Seatbelts, gold, bathroom fixtures. Yup, those are gold too. It's like King Midas went crazy in there. But that's just the start. The jet's got a master bedroom that's bigger than most people's apartments, with a huge bed and its own entertainment system. And get this, there's even a full-on movie theater on board. Barron can watch the latest blockbusters while cruising at 40,000 feet, but here's where it gets really wild. The plane's got hidden rooms that most people don't even know about. These secret spaces are for all sorts of security stuff, extra supplies, and who knows what else. Maybe there's a secret stash of video games or a mini arcade in there. With the Trumps, anything's possible. This jet ain't just fancy. It's built for serious travel. It can fly non-stop for like 16 hours straight without needing to refuel. That means Barron can go pretty much anywhere in the world without having to make a pit stop. New York to Tokyo, no problem. LA to Dubai, easy peasy. But here's the craziest part. The plane's route is always changing at the last minute. Just when you think you know where it's headed, bam, they switch it up. It's all about throwing off any bad guys who might be trying to track Barron's movements. One minute the flight plan says they're going to Miami, the next they're touching down in London. It's like a real-life game of where in the world is Barron Trump? And you know all those annoying airport security lines we have to deal with? Barron doesn't even see them. The jet can use private airports and special terminals, so he goes straight from the car to the plane. No taking off your shoes or getting patted down by TSA for this kid. The Trump jet's also got some serious tech on board. We're talking about secure communication systems, advanced radar, and probably some James Bond-style gadgets we don't even know about. It's like Air Force One, but for a teenager. So next time you're cramped up in economy class, just remember, somewhere out there, Barron Trump's probably stretching out in a gold-plated seat, watching movies in his private theater, and flying to some exotic location you've only seen on Instagram. That's how the world's richest kid travels, and it ain't your average family vacation. Fake planes and decoy jets, the art of misdirection. You'd think one fancy jet would be enough, but nope. Barron's travel plans involve multiple planes, and we ain't talking about a backup in case the first one breaks down. This is some next-level spy movie stuff. Sometimes they'll send out a decoy jet to trick people about where Barron's really going. These fake planes look just like the real deal from the outside. You'd never know the difference. They even got people dressed up to look like Barron and his family boarding them. It's like a whole production, complete with fake luggage and everything. Meanwhile, the real Barron might be on a totally different plane or not even flying that day. He could be chilling at home playing video games while everyone thinks he's halfway across the world. It's wild. This whole setup costs millions extra, but it keeps Barron safe from any potential threats. And when you're the son of a billionaire ex-president, there's always somebody out there trying to cause trouble. So yeah, it's expensive, but can you really put a price on safety? It's like a real-life game of hide and seek, but with private jets worth hundreds of millions. Imagine playing that in your backyard, except your backyard is the entire world, and your hiding spots are luxury planes. That's Barron's life. The craziest part? Even the pilots sometimes don't know if they're flying the real Barron or a decoy. They might think they've got the world's richest kid on board, but it's actually just some guy who looks like him. Talk about need-to-know basis. And it's not just one decoy plane either. They've got a whole fleet of these things. Some days there might be 3 or 4 Trump jets taking off from different airports around the country. Good luck trying to figure out which one's got the real Barron. They switch it up all the time too. One day the real plane might be the one that looks the fanciest. The next day, it could be the most low-key one. It's all about keeping people guessing. Sometimes they'll even have multiple decoys in the air at once, all headed to different places. Meanwhile, Barron's actually on a commercial flight in disguise. It's like a shell game, but with billion-dollar planes instead of cups. The amount of coordination this takes is insane. You've got teams of people planning routes, hiring actors, prepping planes, all just to make sure nobody knows where this kid really is. It's probably more complicated than some military operations, but that's what it takes to keep Barron safe and out of the public eye. When your dad's Donald Trump, privacy ain't just a luxury, it's a necessity. And if that means playing musical chairs with private jets, then that's what they're gonna do. So next time you see a news story about Barron Trump jetting off somewhere, just remember, there's a good chance it ain't even him. The real Barron could be anywhere in the world, or maybe he's just kicking back at home, laughing at all the fuss. That's the power of having a fleet of decoy planes at your disposal. Secret Service supercars, Barron's high-speed entourage. All right, so Barron Trump's got his air game locked down, but his ground transport, that's a whole other level of crazy. We're not talking about some fancy limo here. Barron rolls around in a fleet of armored SUVs that look normal on the outside but are anything but. These rides are built to take a serious beating. We're talking about cars that can literally shrug off explosions like they're nothing. A bomb goes off nearby, no big deal. Barron's ride just keeps on cruising. The windows on these things are so thick they can stop bullets, but somehow Barron can still see out just fine. It's like they've got some kind of magic glass or something. But the outside ain't even the coolest part. Step inside one of these SUVs and you're basically walking into a mini command center. There's satellite phones, computer screens, and all sorts of high-tech gadgets that probably cost more than most people's houses. It's like the inside of a spaceship, but on wheels. And get this, the tires on these cars are something else. They're reinforced, so even if they get shot out, the car can keep driving. Barron could be rolling down the highway on 4 flat tires and you'd never even know it. That's some next-level engineering right there. But here's where it gets really wild. Some of these cars have a system that can lay down an oil slick to lose followers. Yeah, you heard that right. It's like something straight out of a James Bond movie. One minute you're chasing Barron's car, the next you're sliding all over the road like it's a giant slip and slide. All this crazy tech and armor ain't just for show though. It's all about keeping Barron safe on the road. When you're the son of a billionaire ex-president, there's always someone out there who might try to cause trouble. So yeah, maybe it seems a little over the top, but can you really be too careful? The craziest part is, most people wouldn't even notice these cars if they saw them on the street. They look just like regular SUVs from the outside. So next time you see a normal-looking black SUV cruising down the road, who knows? It might just be Barron Trump inside, surrounded by enough armor and tech to make the Pentagon jealous. This whole setup probably costs more than most people will make in their entire lives. But when you're the world's richest kid, that's just how you roll. Regular cars are for regular people, and Barron Trump ain't exactly regular. His ride is proof of that. Underground tunnels and secret passages, Barron's hidden highways. Regular cars might be for regular people, but Barron Trump's transportation game goes even deeper, literally. Ever wondered how he manages to vanish into thin air? The answer lies beneath your feet. Barron's not just dodging traffic, he's bypassing entire city blocks through a hidden world most of us never see. You think Barron just walks in the front door of places like a normal kid? Think again. A lot of the hotels and buildings he visits have secret underground tunnels. These ain't just some tiny passages either. We're talking about legit underground highways that let Barron move around without anyone seeing him. Some of these tunnels are so big and complex, they connect to nearby buildings or even go for blocks underground. It's like Barron's got his own private subway system, but way fancier. These tunnels have security checkpoints that make airport security look like a joke. They've got blast doors that could probably survive a nuclear bomb, and air filtration systems that keep the air cleaner than what you're breathing right now. In some places, Barron can go from his car to his room without ever being seen in public. He just drives into a hidden entrance, takes a secret elevator, and bam! He's in his suite without a single person spotting him. It's like he's got superpowers or something. But it ain't just about security. These tunnels let Barron dodge paparazzi and crowds too. No more getting swarmed by people wanting selfies or reporters shouting questions. He just zips through his underground network and pops up wherever he needs to be, cool as a cucumber. Imagine having your own private network of secret roads under a city. That's Barron's life. While we're all stuck in traffic or pushing through crowds, he's cruising along in his own private underground world. It's like he's living in a video game with cheat codes turned on. These tunnels ain't cheap either. We're talking millions of dollars to build and maintain them. But when you're the world's richest kid, That's pocket change. Some of these passages probably cost more than most people's houses. And get this, a lot of these tunnels are so secret, most people working in the buildings don't even know they exist. You could be standing right on top of one of Barron's secret highways and never have a clue. It's like there's a whole other city right under our feet, but only Barron and his crew have the map. So next time you're in a big city, just remember, Barron Trump might be zooming along right under your feet in his own private underground highway. While we're all dealing with traffic and crowds, he's living it up in his secret tunnel world. That's how the world's richest kid gets around, and it makes our subway systems look like kids' toys in comparison. The invisible shield, Barron's personal security detail. Think spotting Barron's security is easy? Think again. That tourist taking photos, the kid playing on his phone, even that hotel maid, any of them could be highly trained Secret Service agents ready to take a bullet for Barron. It's like a real-life game of spot the bodyguard, except you'd probably lose every time. Barron's got his own team of Secret Service agents, but you probably won't even notice them. These guys are trained to blend in and look like regular people. Some might be dressed as tourists, others could look like hotel staff or even other kids. They're always watching, always ready, but you'd never know they're there. The team uses special earpieces and hand signals to communicate without anyone noticing. It's like they've got their own secret language. They could be having a whole conversation about Barron's safety right in front of you, and you wouldn't have a clue. These agents ain't just carrying normal stuff either. They've got all sorts of hidden weapons and gadgets on them at all times. That guy's umbrella, it might be bulletproof. That woman's purse could be hiding a high-tech surveillance system. Even their watches and glasses might have secret tech built in. But here's the craziest part. The team's always changing. They switch up the agents all the time, so no one can predict who's guarding Barron. One day it might be a group that looks like a family on vacation. The next day it could be a bunch of business people in suits. You never know who's part of Barron's security detail. It's like Barron's got his own personal army, but one that's practically invisible. They're always there, watching his every move, but you'd never even know it. They blend in so well, they could be standing right next to you and you wouldn't have a clue. These agents go through some intense training to pull this off. They gotta learn how to act like normal people while still being ready to jump into action at any second. They practice stuff like how to look casual while scanning a room for threats, or how to take down a bad guy while pretending to tie their shoe. And it ain't just about looking the part. These agents gotta be in top physical shape too. They might look like average Joes, but they can probably outrun, outfight, and outshoot most people. They're like real-life superheroes, but without the flashy costumes. So next time you're out and about, take a look around. That group of friends laughing at a cafe, that jogger stretching by the park, that dad pushing a stroller, any of them could be part of Barron Trump's secret security team. It's a whole different level of protection, and it's all happening right under our noses. Fake names and secret bookings. Barron's undercover hotel stays. Alright, so Barron Trump's not just rolling up to hotels like a regular kid. Nah, when this dude checks in, he's going full-on secret agent mode. You think he's using his real name? Think again. The Trump family's got a whole list of fake names they use for bookings, and it's wild. Sometimes they'll make reservations under totally random names like John Smith or Jane Doe. You know, the kind of names that blend in so well you'd never give them a second thought. But other times they get fancy with it. They use code names that only their team knows. It's like they're playing their own private game of Clue, but instead of Colonel Mustard in the library, it's Barron Trump in the penthouse suite. But here's where it gets really crazy. They don't just book one room under a fake name. Nah, they'll often book multiple rooms or even entire floors under different names. So while you think Barron's staying in the presidential suite under the name Mr. X, he might actually be in a regular room 3 floors down under the name Bob Johnson. It's like a real-life shell game, but with hotel rooms. This whole setup makes it super hard for anyone to figure out which room Barron's really in. Even if someone managed to get their hands on the hotel's guest list, they'd have no idea which name to look for. It's some next-level privacy stuff, and it's all to keep Barron safe. The craziest part? Most of the time, the hotel staff don't even know they've got a Trump staying there. They might think they're just dealing with a bunch of random guests, but little do they know, one of them is the son of a billionaire ex-president. The front desk clerks, the bellhops, even the housekeeping staff, they're all in the dark. And it ain't just about using fake names. The Trump team's got all sorts of tricks up their sleeves. They might book rooms in different hotels across the city, even if Barron's only staying in one. They could have decoy luggage sent to some rooms while Barron's real stuff goes to another. It's like they're running their own little spy operation every time they travel. All this cloak and dagger stuff, it's all part of keeping Barron's location a secret and throwing off any potential threats. When you're the kid of someone as famous and controversial as Donald Trump, you can't be too careful. So yeah, it might seem like overkill to most of us, but for Barron, it's just another day in the life. So next time you're staying at a fancy hotel and you see a kid who looks kinda like Barron Trump, don't get too excited. It probably ain't him. The real Barron's probably in a totally different room, under a totally different name, living it up in secret while the rest of us are none the wiser. That's how the world's richest kid does hotels, and it makes our vacation plans look boring in comparison. The Digital Fortress, protecting Barron's online presence. If you thought Barron's hotel game was impressive, wait till you hear about his online world. Imagine having a team of cyber ninjas guarding your every click and swipe. That's just a normal Tuesday for the world's richest kid. But why does he need all this digital muscle? Well, Barron's not just protected in the real world. His online life is locked down tighter than Fort Knox. He's got a whole squad of cybersecurity experts working around the clock to keep his digital info safe. These guys ain't messing around. They're probably smarter than the folks working at NASA, and they're all focused on making sure no one can hack into Barron's stuff. Any device Barron uses has some serious security. We're talking military-grade encryption that'd make the Pentagon jealous. His phone, it's probably got more security features than most banks. His laptop, it's like it's got its own digital bodyguard. Even his gaming consoles are probably more secure than most company networks. But it ain't just about protecting his devices. Barron's internet connection is wild. They route it through a bunch of different servers to hide where he really is. So even if someone tried to track his location online, they'd end up chasing their tail all over the world. It's like playing hide and seek, but on a global scale. Now you might be thinking, what about social media? Every kid's on TikTok or Instagram these days. Well, forget about it. Barron's social media accounts, if he even has any, are locked down tighter than Area 51. They're probably more secure than most government websites. No chance of any embarrassing posts or DMs getting leaked from this kid. Even when Barron's doing his homework, he's not just logging onto some regular school website. Nah, he's got special secure networks for all his school stuff. It's like he's got his own private internet just for doing math problems and writing essays. Talk about taking online learning to a whole new level. But the craziest part, Barron's got a team that's always scanning the internet for any mention of him. They're looking for potential threats, nasty rumors, or anything that could cause trouble. It's like having a virtual secret service watching over every tweet, post, or comment that even hints at Barron's name. So next time you're scrolling through social media or doing some online shopping, just remember, somewhere out there, Barron Trump's living in a whole different digital world. One where every click is protected, every keystroke is watched, and every website is secure. It's like he's got his own personal internet, and it makes our online lives look as basic as a flip phone from 2005. Bulletproof fashion, Barron's high-tech wardrobe. While we're out here wearing regular clothes, Barron Trump's rocking a wardrobe straight out of James Bond. Think your new kicks are cool. His shoes can literally sniff out danger. Barron's clothes ain't just for looking good. They're part of his security too. A lot of his outfits have hidden bulletproof materials woven right in. We're talking jackets that can stop a knife and shirts that are fire resistant. It's like he's wearing a full suit of armor, but one that looks like regular designer clothes. Even his shoes are next level. They've got special soles that can detect explosives or dangerous chemicals. So while we're out here worrying about stepping in gum, Barron's shoes are scanning for bombs. That's some serious tech right there. But it don't stop with the clothes. Barron's accessories are like something out of a spy movie. His watch? It's probably got a built-in GPS tracker. His backpack? Could be bulletproof and have a panic button. And those glasses he sometimes wears? They might look normal, but they could have a hidden camera or communication device. It's like every piece of his outfit is doing double duty as a secret gadget. The craziest part, all this tech is super lightweight and flexible. Barron can move around normally, like he's just wearing regular clothes. You'd never know he's basically walking around in a high-tech security system. It's not like he's clanking around in a suit of armor or anything. This ain't your average designer wardrobe. Barron's clothes probably cost more than most people's houses. But when you're the son of a billionaire ex-president, that's just what you wear to school. While we're out here saving up for a new pair of sneakers, Barron's rocking shoes that could probably hack into the Pentagon. And it's not just about protection. Some of this tech is probably for communication too. Barron could be chatting with his security team through his watch or getting directions through his glasses. It's like he's got his own personal mission control center, but it's all hidden in his outfit. So next time you see a picture of Barron Trump and think he's just wearing some fancy designer clothes, think again. That outfit's probably got more tech in it than your smartphone. It's a whole new level of fashion, where looking good is just the start. Barron's clothes are working overtime to keep him safe, connected, and ready for anything. That's how the world's richest kid dresses, and it makes our wardrobes look boring in comparison. The panic room on wheels, Barron's emergency escape vehicle. You think Barron's regular cars are fancy? That's nothing compared to his emergency escape vehicle. This thing's like a tank disguised as a normal SUV. It's always nearby when Barron's out, ready to whisk him away if things go south. This isn't just some armored car, it's got reinforced everything. The doors, windows, even the floor can take a blast that'd turn a regular car into scrap metal. It's like driving around in a fortress on wheels. And the inside, it's packed with enough food, water, and medical supplies to last for days. Barron could basically live in this thing if he had to. But that's not even the craziest part. The car's got its own air supply, because you never know when there might be a chemical attack or something. While everyone else is choking on poison gas, Barron's chilling in his mobile panic room, breathing easy. And forget about calling 911. This ride's got a direct line to emergency services and military support. It's like having the entire US Armed Forces on speed dial. If Barron ever gets in trouble, help ain't far away. Now you might be thinking, what if they need to make a quick getaway? Well, this SUV's got that covered too. The engine's so powerful, it can outrun pretty much anything on the road. We're talking supercar speeds in a vehicle that weighs as much as a small tank. It's like they took a NASCAR engine and stuffed it into an armored truck. But here's the wild thing. From the outside, it looks just like a regular luxury SUV. You could park it next to a soccer mom's car at the mall and no one would give it a second glance. That's some serious James Bond stuff right there. This car ain't cheap either. We're talking millions of dollars for just one of these babies. But when you're the son of a billionaire ex-president, that's pocket change. It's like buying a Hot Wheels toy for a normal kid. So next time you see a fancy SUV rolling down the street, just remember, it might be more than meets the eye. It could be Barron Trump's secret escape vehicle, ready to turn into a mobile fortress at a moment's notice. That's how the world's richest kid rolls, and it makes our cars look like toys in comparison. Sky-high security, how Barron flies commercial, rarely. Forget about flying private. Sometimes Barron Trump's got to mix it up with us regular folks on commercial flights. But don't think for a second it's anything like your typical trip to visit grandma. Nah, this is some next-level security that starts way before Barron even steps foot in the airport. Days before the flight, Barron's team is already hard at work. They're running background checks on every single person who's going to be on that plane. We're talking passengers, pilots, flight attendants, even the guy who cleans the bathrooms. If you've got a ticket, you bet your name's getting checked out. When it's finally time to fly, Barron ain't standing in no TSA line with the rest of us. He's got his own private entrance and special security lanes. While we're taking off our shoes and emptying our pockets, Barron's breezing through like he owns the place. Which, I mean, his dad kinda does own a lot of places. Barron and his crew are always the last ones to board the plane. They don't want him sitting around waiting for everyone else to get on. And when the plane lands, you better believe Barron's the first one off. No waiting at the baggage claim for this kid. Once they're on the plane, it ain't just about finding a comfy seat. Barron's got a whole secure zone set up just for him and his security detail. It's like they've got their own little private jet inside the regular plane. The rest of us might be fighting over the armrest, but Barron's chilling in his own personal bubble. And don't think the other passengers are all just regular Joes either. There's special air marshals on every flight Barron takes. They're blending in, looking like normal passengers, but they're ready to jump into action if anything goes down. That guy napping in 14B, he might just be a highly trained security expert. The plane's route is kept super secret too. They don't announce where they're going until the last minute. And get this, they might even change the route mid-flight. One minute you think you're headed to LA, next thing you know you're landing in Denver. It's all to keep the bad guys guessing. Even the food ain't normal on Barron's flights. His meals are specially prepared and checked for safety. While we're all picking at our sad little airplane chicken, Barron's probably eating something that's been through more security checks than most people go through in their whole lives. So next time you're on a flight and you see a kid who looks kinda like Barron Trump, don't get too excited. It probably ain't him. But if it is, just know there's a whole lot of crazy security stuff going on that you can't even see. That's how the world's richest kid flies commercial, and it makes our travel plans look like child's play in comparison. The Clone Wars, Barron's body doubles. You think you've seen Barron Trump out and about? Think again, because there's a good chance it wasn't even him. The Trump family's got a whole squad of body doubles trained to look and act just like them. It's some next-level spy movie stuff. These doubles ain't just some random lookalikes. They go through some crazy intense training to get Barron's mannerisms and speech down pat. We're talking hours of studying videos, practicing his walk, even learning how to do that signature Trump hair flip. It's like they're method actors, but instead of playing a character in a movie, they're playing Barron Trump in real life. The Trump team uses these doubles for all sorts of things. Public appearances, yup, travel, you bet. Sometimes they even send them out just to walk around and be seen. It's all about keeping people guessing. Is that the real Barron or just a really good fake? But here's where it gets really wild. Sometimes they'll use multiple doubles at once. Imagine seeing Barron in 3 different places on the same day. It's enough to make your head spin. While everyone's trying to figure out which one's real, the actual Barron might be chilling at home, safe and sound. The security around this whole body double thing is insane. Even some of the guys on Barron's security team don't always know if they're guarding the real deal or not. It's like a real-life game of spot the difference, but with way higher stakes. If the security guys can't tell, how's anyone else supposed to? This ain't just some game though, it's all about keeping Barron safe. While a double's out there taking all the attention and potential risks, the real Barron could be anywhere. It's a pretty smart move when you think about it. Why put the actual kid in harm's way when you can send out a decoy? The amount of work that goes into this is crazy. These doubles gotta be ready for anything. They need to know how Barron would react in any situation, what he'd say, how he'd move. It's like they're living, breathing Barron Trump encyclopedias. And it ain't just about looking the part. These doubles gotta be in top shape too. They need to be ready to move fast if things go south. Plus, they gotta be smart enough to think on their feet. One wrong move or out-of-character comment could blow the whole thing. So next time you think you've spotted Barron Trump out in public, take a closer look. Is it really him, or is it one of his highly trained doubles? Chances are, you'll never know for sure. And that's exactly how the Trump family wants it. It's all part of keeping the world's richest kid safe, even if it means creating a few extra Barrons along the way. The invisible entourage, Barron's advance team. While those body doubles are out there fooling everyone, Barron's got another trick up his sleeve that's even more mind-blowing. Imagine having a team so good at their job, you never even know they were there. That's exactly what Barron's got, and they're changing the game of celebrity security. Before Barron even thinks about going somewhere, there's a whole crew already there setting things up. These guys are like ghosts, sweeping every location and checking for any possible threats. They're not just looking for obvious stuff either. They're scanning for hidden cameras, listening devices, and anything else that could put Barron at risk. But that's nothing compared to what else they do. These guys are mapping out escape routes like they're planning a heist movie. They're setting up safe rooms that'd make a doomsday prepper jealous. And they're talking to local security, making sure everyone's on the same page if something goes down. The tech these guys use is next level. They've got gadgets that can spot a hidden camera from across the room. They're checking water and air quality like they're prepping for a space mission. It's wild, because you'd never even know they were there. Sometimes they'll make little changes to a place, adding extra security cameras or tweaking the layout. By the time Barron shows up, the whole area's basically Fort Knox. It's like they've turned a regular building into a secret agent training ground overnight. But here's the crazy part. You'd never even notice. These guys are pros at blending in. They could be posing as hotel staff, construction workers, or even tourists. That guy fixing the vending machine, he might be making sure it can't be used to hide a bomb. The tourist taking photos of the building, she could be cataloging all the entry and exit points. They're not just focused on the big stuff either. These guys are checking every little detail. The elevator Barron might use, they've made sure it can't be hacked or stopped between floors. The restaurant where he might eat? They've vetted every single employee and probably checked out the kitchen too. And it ain't just about security. These guys are making sure Barron's gonna be comfortable too. They're setting up secure internet connections, making sure his favorite snacks are on hand, and probably even adjusting the thermostat to his preferred temperature. By the time Barron arrives, everything's perfect. The place is secure, comfortable, and ready for anything. And the best part? He probably doesn't even notice most of what they've done. It's just another day for the world's richest kid, but behind the scenes, it's been a massive operation. So next time you hear about Barron Trump visiting somewhere, just remember, there's way more going on than you can see. It's like he's got an army of ninjas working for him, turning every place he goes into a secret fortress. That's how the son of a billionaire ex-president travels, and it makes our vacation prep look like child's play. The panic button, Barron's emergency extraction plan. You think Barron Trump's got it all figured out with his fancy cars and secret tunnels? That's nothing compared to his panic button. This kid's got a get-out-of-danger-free card that'd make James Bond jealous. No matter where Barron is, there's always a plan to get him out of there fast if things go south. He's got this special device on him at all times. One press and boom, the whole security system goes crazy. It's like hitting the nuclear launch button, but instead of missiles, it's sending out a whole army to save Barron. The second that button gets pushed, it's like the whole world starts moving. Helicopters are suddenly in the air. Cars are racing to wherever Barron is, and safe houses are getting prepped faster than you can say, presidential kid in trouble. It's wild, like someone hit fast forward on an action movie. But that ain't even the craziest part. In every city Barron visits, there are pre-planned routes to get him to secure locations. It's like they've got a secret map of every place he goes, with escape routes marked out like it's a video game. While we're trying to figure out Google Maps, Barron's got a whole team planning his getaway before he even arrives. Some buildings where Barron hangs out even have special chutes or slides for a super quick escape. Yeah, you heard that right. While we're taking the stairs, Barron could be zooming down a secret slide like he's at a billionaire's playground. It's like Home Alone, but with way better budget and actual danger. The Trump team ain't messing around either. They've got agreements with local police and even military units for backup if needed. So if things really hit the fan, Barron's got an entire army ready to swoop in and save him. It's like he's got his own personal Justice League on speed dial. And you know they ain't just winging it. These guys have run drills for every possible scenario you can imagine, and probably some you can't. Alien invasion, they've practiced for it. Zombie apocalypse, they're ready. It's like they've turned Barron's life into one big fire drill, but for danger. So next time you're worried about being late for school or work, just remember, somewhere out there, Barron Trump's got a panic button that can mobilize an entire security force in seconds. It's like having a get-out-of-jail-free card, but for any dangerous situation. That's how the world's richest kid stays safe, and it makes our emergency plans look like kids' stuff in comparison.